Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. I'm going to do another little music stream and we'll see how this goes. We had a little fun with it on Wednesday and not a ton of people watched or wanted to watch, but some people were into just seeing how I do this process live, like making my weird little soundtrack tracks and ambient tracks. If I sound a little bit different today, the reason is because I'm using a different microphone. And if you want to know exactly what microphone I'm using, it is it's a Yeti. It's a blue Yeti, and like an omnidirectional. So you can hear stuff on the back. So basically, you're just listening to a live monitor. You're hearing what I hear in the room as I'm doing it, and that's just a much simpler way for me to stream what I'm doing. Because that means I don't have to deal with like using virtual cables. When you're using a lot of digital audio workstations, and I'll just I'll go ahead and show the workspace here. You have what's called ASIO. Anyway, it's a direct control of the hardware. So rather than it going through the entire operating system, which creates a lot of delay, creates a lot of latency. You control the hardware directly, and that's how you can have that low latency monitoring. However, when you're using a piece of software like OBS, which is what I'm using to stream this, you will end up with this situation where none of the sounds of the actual software will come through the system. So even though it's coming out of the speakers, it's all going through this direct hardware loop because the speakers are coming out of the hardware too. They're coming out of my interface. If you guys want to know what interface is, I have a Focusrite. I think it's an 18i8. It's probably, thanks to the two people showing up, it's probably a little bit more than what I need for what I do, but I like to have more than not enough. And I have used it to do, say, quadraphonic live recording in Reaper and software like that. So it's a good interface. They have newer ones that are even better than the one I have, but it's a good one. It has a nice aluminum enclosure. It feels pretty tough. I have a mic sitting on it. I don't worry about it ever breaking or something like that. It's been really good to me, and I've had it for about 4 years, I think. So it's been really good for those 4 years, and I do recommend it. So let's take a listen to what we came up with on Wednesday. I haven't looked at this since then, and then we will figure out where we want to go with this after we take a listen. And I'll also say, for those of you who are here, I have 9 people, so I'm glad you're here. A lot of the stuff that isn't part of this workflow happens later, and that's a lot of the manipulation of the EQ, the running compression on the entire mix to try to glue stuff together, and just getting things ready for when you're actually going to distribute the file, including like all kinds of little tweaks on, say, effects for drums and things like that, running reverb and whatever else you're going to run. All that stuff comes a little bit later. I like to just focus on getting the material down, making it as balanced as I can get it while I'm recording it, and then after the fact, I tend to do all of the little detail work. So that's the way that I do it. Other people do it differently. They're really focused on the effects for each track as they do them. I don't like to do that because once you start building up the tracks, then you have to change everything that you're doing anyway. So I tend to just start with the recording. So let's listen to what we did last time. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Bass entrance. A little candy. I'm going to get rid of this. There's the actual entrance. I'm going to pull that down a little bit. There we go. We need a little bit of reverb here. And we can turn this back up. That's the reverb we want. So we need to add in a drum part for this phrase. Add in some drums. Actually, I'm going to put on my hearing aid too so I can hear this a little better. When I'm writing, I spent the last hour or two writing. When I'm writing, I don't usually have my hearing aid on. It makes the room too noisy. There we go. The hearing aid going. I kind of like that dropout sound there, so I may keep that. You know, so once we finish this next big section here, which takes us out past 2 minutes, it's good to have a contrasting section, something that like maybe we thin the texture instead of building it, or just have something different in our presentation. So like this would be like a good spot for an improvised guitar solo or something like that to just kind of break up the flow and provide a little bit of interest. Let's add some drums first though. I'm just going to add, like all the hi-hats are still there. We've had more or less one hi-hat pattern. I can always go back and kind of might change the hi-hat pattern a little earlier because this is like a Roomba hi-hat, and we could do something that's a little more straightforward, which would just be like a closed hi-hat. Those are the two sounds I like to work with hi-hats, because that's the way I play drums. Is I'm always just playing that. You're always playing a hi-hat with your right hand, and then you can open or close it as you go, and that's a big sound in rock and funk as well. So let's add some drums, and we'll go from there. Let's turn that on. I'm gonna do 1 bar count in. Here we go. Yeah, and then so that's probably a good little drum phrase there. And we'll open that up and take a look at what we did. Just quantize it to get everything evened out, because we don't want little timing things for something like this. Sometimes I don't bother. Let's hear it. Notice I'm using 2 different snare sounds. So this kit has a standard snare, and it also has a rim shot. So you can mix those up really easy if you want to do that. Again, a lot of times I would just play this on a drum set and then like kind of clean it up after that. I have a MIDI drum set to my left, but I don't want to do that for this stream, so we'll just do it with this. It's pretty good. Thank you, Waylon Smithers. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit more drums to fill this out. If we want the drums to kind of become more active, I'll show something with that. Let me see if I can show that. Let me do something like, you know, you could do just increase the frequency of the bass drums. But this is kind of like a mid-tempo thing, so we may not want to make the drums too active here. But let's record some more drums. Let's do do that again. I kind of want a little more active bass drum just in this phrase. So let's see, even that out. We'll quantize that, and we'll just see what we think about it. Yeah, I kind of like that. And the thing is, if you're going to click in drums, like let's say I click in a drum right there, it's going to have one setting as far as the velocity goes. The velocity information is how hard you hit the key. Because I like this to feel more like real drums, I key it in and I keep the velocity stuff pretty close there, and that makes it, I think, feel a little more real. If you were to key in it all, it'd be like doot, 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 doot. And I can tell a lot of times when drums are electronic, not from the fact that like the snare always sounds the same, because every time you hit a snare in a slightly different spot, it's going to create a little bit different tone, but also because it is all going to be the same volume. There's going to be the straight same velocity over and over again. And I could tell right away on like the last Winterson album, for example, that the drums were programmed, that it wasn't Kai Hato playing, because it was too even. It was completely inhuman as far as velocity goes, and I guess Yari just didn't think about that. But I think about that kind of stuff, you know. I think about that kind of stuff all the time. All right. Hope you're well. Thank you, Daedraconis. Arjun Dulat, what are the copyright laws around drum patterns? Is it okay to list a sequence ever? You can lift as many drum patterns as you want. You cannot copyright a drum pattern. So, I'm not a copyright attorney, but you're going to be safe on this. There's a standard thing called a rock backbeat. You know, where you have you always have that snare on 2 and 4. If you're doing jazz, you're going to put a hi-hat on 2 and 4 and have that pattern. But drum patterns are pretty much standard for genres, so you're going to hear the same drum pattern in like every song when you start really listening for it. You cannot copyright a drum pattern. The exception would be if you had something like Steve Reich's, I think, what's it called? It's like music for clapping. The music is two rhythmic patterns of him clapping, that one is shorter by like half a beat, and so they line up in different ways as you play. That entire piece is copyrighted. That pattern isn't. You could use that pattern in something else. But if you were to have the exact same presentation he had, then you're violating copyright, because it's exactly the same as what he did. So you can reuse patterns. You can reuse. Now it gets a little bit harder when you start getting into pitched instruments, but certain chord progressions, for example, are common, and you can't copyright them. So like a standard, let me turn on the keyboard. A standard thing like, is this on? Oh, I turned that track off. Okay. 1, 6, 4, 5. Earth angel, please be mine. Every song from the 50s uses the same 4 chords. It's a rhythm and blues chords. Okay, so those chords you're going to hear over and over again. Same thing with blues chords, right? Blues chords would be, you do like a C7. If you're playing in C, it'd be C7, F7, C7. Then you're going to play G7, and then F7. I don't want to play F7 here. No. And 1. Okay, you have the same chords in blues over and over again. So that can't be copyrighted. It's common. Where it gets into the realm of you could get sued is something like what who did this? Coldplay had this song that was rhythmically and melodically the exact same as a Joe Satriani song, but they were singing the melody instead of it being played on the guitar. And you can look this up. He actually sued them over it. He wanted a writing credit, is what I think he wanted. So he wanted a writing credit and a portion of a part of the royalties, not the phonograph royalties, but the composition royalties. And there's different kinds of royalties when it comes to music. There's royalties that are related to the recording and ones that are related to the composition itself. So you can lift the chords. The chords are pretty simple. Actually, I think the chords are like Pachelbel's Canons, and a bunch of different songs as well. But if you have the same chords, same melody, same tempo, boom, you're in the realm of copyright violation. Just meaning that you're doing the same thing. This happens a lot in pop music because pop music doesn't use a lot of variations. It's like the same chords over and over again, the same patterns. It's really easy to make something that's really similar to something else because you're just using the same stuff over and over and over again. It's a little bit harder if you're outside that style and say jazz, where really, I mean, you're going to be doing a new unique chord progression in every song and different melody. Therefore, it's just going to be way harder to accidentally violate copyright or something like that in jazz. Nor does that even really matter. People tend to just play other people's songs all the time. David Stewart, I forgot to let you know last time, if you didn't, the jagog is a percussion instrument. I was extensively used in the movie Akira. It's a pretty neat instrument. I think I played it, so I don't know that much about it. I haven't watched Akira in a long time. Akira. So I haven't watched that in a long time, so I'm not sure exactly what to expect there. All right, so let's listen to this new phrase here and kind of hear where we want to go from here. Yeah, we need something. We need an extra variation in here somewhere. Yeah, we need to have something else continue here. So we had this kind of sound. So maybe we just we'll continue this with a different variation. We'll maybe repeat this, and then we'll have another variation happen right here. We'll create some interest in the electric guitar right here. So press Control, move that over. So we kind of disguise the changeover to the new chords. All right. Let's get out the old electric guitar here. There's that cable. Oh, that's not it. There it is. It's at my feet. All right. Actually, I need to test something real quick on this because I have an idea for something else cool I can do with this guitar, but I haven't. Which one? Mono. I can actually do some interesting stuff. Let's see. That's the piezo pickup. There's a piezo pickup in here, so you can get that classical guitar, or that you can get some interesting sounds there. Let me see what. There you go. You maybe put in some kind of guitar solo or something. We'll You can experiment with it a little bit. Before I go any further, let's grab a tuner here. This thing hangs on the wall, so sometimes it's going to go out of tune, you know. It'll go out of tune. It happens. It's also been crazy temperature changes here, and that's going to knock stuff out of tune. It's supposed to get up to 100 tomorrow, where I'm at. You can hear my classical guitar just falls out of tune. Over there. It's out of tune. Very out of tune. But yeah, I can get that piezo sound. It's a little peaky there. I can even do it stereo I have 2 outputs on this guitar. Go stereo into 2, make a stereo track, have different effects on each channel. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this guitar, especially live. I don't want that sound. That electric guitar sound. Little peaky here. Go like too active. You can have something more active a little later on. What do you think? We'll just experiment a little bit and see, come up with any ideas. Nope, F sharp. B minor. So I'm kind of in a B minor area. Let me think about that for a minute. I'm going to demixylating our work. Yeah, okay. Let's do something like really kind of smooth here. Let's maybe start right there. You can always pull that one over. Let's just experiment a little bit. I don't think I like that harmonic sound though. I don't think I like that harmonic sound. I don't like the sound of that G sharp. I'm gonna do that again. Try that again. Less mistakes. I have my phone popped up with a reminder to record videos. So that's on my calendar. Let's try that again. Changes were off by a bar. I do that like a lot. I feel like I do that like too much, so I'm gonna do a different like. I do this like. I do that like a little too much. So I'm gonna try that one again. I can tell like if I'm reusing too many of like the same little melodic things, then I know I want to redo it. Here we go. I'm not landing on D. Yeah, we really want to land on that A, not the D. The D is a 11. We don't want that. Don't want to land on the 11. Nope, didn't have natural. Boring, huh? Like getting on that G, but that's a little better. See, it gets a little better as you get a little bit familiar. Nope, I shouldn't do that if natural. The sound wasn't good. That's probably okay for that phrase. We'll keep that phrase. A part of it's just like you got to get the changes where you just know the changes really easily. So you don't want to be like going through something and just kind of fumbling through it. You want to know what those changes actually are and get it right. So let's listen to it and see if it holds up. Let's turn off Snap for a second. Turn off Snap because I really want this one to lead over just a little bit more like that. All right, let's listen to it. Yeah, it's a little sloppy. All right. It's a little sloppy. It's closer though. Afterward did have some great theme music. It's not really there. I actually kind of like that take. So I might, I mean, it has a certain flavor to it, but just because I kind of did a lot of improv. So I'm actually going to pop in another audio track, turn it off, and actually drop that down there. And then we can re-record up here. It's an easy way to save a take in case like I like it for weird reasons. Couple sloppy things. I kind of like that one. Let's hear how that one sounds. It's okay. No, I want that delay. It must be really boring for people watching. Why don't you do like 100 takes of like one little solo? Sometimes I do this because I just don't quite know what I want. I feel like that's a little too active. You know, I feel like it's a little too active. I'm gonna tone it down. This doesn't feel like a really like. It's just too many notes. That's better. See, I like that a little better. You know, I like that a little. I like that a little bored. I like that a little better. Most people don't let you watch them practice. It's not really like practicing. It's more just. Kind of like that, you know, kind of gets a little more active at the end. So I think I'm going to keep that take. See, and sometimes you just got to do it till you come up with something that you like, and then you just kind of keep that. I'm going to rename this. This is rename. Nope. Rename. Scratch. All right, that's where I'm going to keep audio that I just don't know if I want to keep it or not. So we do have this keyboards up here we need to do something with to continue out here. And so one of the things that you can do, I think if you're working in this sort of process, is to really, I'm probably going to dial this back to half, start right there with the keyboards. Let me just hear those for a second. Hear what I was doing. So we're going to go with like D. We can go down to fifths even. As it starts to. All right. B, C, B minor, A minor. Okay. Let's think about a good little two voice. This is like a two voice thing, so we'll do two voices at a time. Do fifth. Yeah, those thirds don't sound that good in this little patch. So maybe it's going to be like, we'll do, and then, there we go. And then we can go, and then what? Maybe up to octaves, or do we want to go fifths? I like the parallel fifths. Fifths. I mean, in good counterpoint, you're not really supposed to go fifth to octave either. So I'm not sure what I want to do there. I think I like it just going down in the left hand. A little deep. Yeah, let's try that. Let's hear that sound. I bet it'll sound good in context. Oops. Let's do 2 bars. No, we're okay. Alright, yeah, let's try it. Maybe let's take it up an octave though. Up here? Yeah, let's take it up an octave. Well, we'll quantize it just cause. It's pretty much in time though, so I'm not gonna worry too much about it. And then I think I want to end this by like having everything drop out except for maybe just guitar. Not here, but I think the last 4 bars. So I'll record some more drums. Let's do a little bit less active drums to kind of set that up. Okay. Always remember to save your work. Hitting that save button. I don't want to lose what I did. Alright. Yeah, drum patterns for pretty much every pop song are basically identical. If you go to Caribbean music, especially reggaeton, pieces have all the exact same patterns. It's true. A lot of them have the same like chords and stuff too. I'm not bored, I'm interested. Well, I'm glad you're not bored. Great melody you're working on, really stuck in my head. Reminds me of some Buckethead's chilled out stuff. Thanks. Yeah, I think I'm only really familiar with Buckethead's like shred weirdness. But he does, I mean, he's a really talented guy and just has a lot of different, he has a lot of range as a player. And that's a cool thing to shoot for if you're a player, is having a lot of range. You know, it's like, it would take so much more effort to be like a, I don't know, Michelangelo Badio like shredder. And why would you do that? Like there's already Yngwie and Michelangelo Badio, so why would you want to go that direction? It's better to do your own thing. Like Steve Vai can definitely shred, but he has a huge range as well. He can do things all over the place that are just great. So I think range is a little overrated there. I mean, underrated. Like people hear, you know, they hear like Herman Lee and they're like, man, I want to shred like Herman Lee. They don't realize that Herman Lee can actually do a lot of this stuff besides just play really, really fast notes. All right. So I kind of like things just dropping out here. But I want to add like some kind of little keyboard interest when it drops out. So I'm going to add in a MIDI track, and we're going to find something. I want something that's like really percussive and kind of weird. I'm thinking maybe like chimes or something. So, you know, I think I have some in orchestral mallets. Crotales. Tubular bells. That's a little too much. I think we could try it. Here, watch. You know, just but they're not making any sound here. Oh, they're all up here. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so we do... Easy. You can even do octaves, I guess. Watch. Let's just put it in, see what happens. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. So I think I'll keep it, but there's something else that I want. Maybe like gamelan or something. See if I have a gamelan. Oh, that's a weird one. Yeah, I don't think I want that one, but that's a cool sound. Kind of like it. But I don't think I'm going to use it, though. It's not quite... yeah, it's the only one I have. Is this metallic? Gamelan. I'm misspelling it. Yeah, that's the only one I have. That's kind of cool, though. I mean, well, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I don't like it. Kind of like the orchestra bells, though. They have an interesting effect. Put it like a celeste. I wonder if I have a celeste in here somewhere. There it goes. Celeste. So many plugins. It's like, nope, maybe we don't. You know where it would be, though. Orchestral mallets. Crotales. Yeah, let's do crotales. Let's do the 6th. I'll do the 6th here, or we'll do the 3rd, but it'll sound like a 6th. No. Oh, no. Yeah, you just have that. Now we can have like a really different triangle. Triangle tends to not be pitched. I mean, you can do triangle. I mean, you can add in more stuff. Like one of the things I'll probably add in is another drum track that's just like cymbal crashes and stuff like that. It's all that kind of stuff. Oh, this is a cool one. Do like some like Ugandan harps and have this weird hide harps. They're pretty cool. Have you ever considered doing classical or jazz for Writestream? And this is kind of jazz. I mean, we could do straight ahead like classic. Okay, why is it still playing? That's interesting. Okay. I mean, we could do straight ahead jazz sometime. But, you know, I don't know. Jazz is really meant to be played live. It's really meant for, like, live players. Like, overdub jazz just doesn't seem correct. There's something off about the concept to me. Like, jazz is meant to be between different performers. All right, so kind of like that. I may add just like a droning bass note right here. I don't need a guitar sound though. Hold on. Let's get out your old bass. Started with. All right. Let's play and hold a C. Call that good time. That's good. So there's a little bit of overlap there. And I might have to go back to guitar and go to something a little less active to kind of close out that phrase. Close out this section, I mean. And then we can have, from there we can decide, you know, are we going to go back to the first part? Are we going to repeat information? We're going to have like a brand new section. That one. Then we can do the same idea. It starts on D. Let's just do more. Well, let me think. I think I like. Do the sixths. Just sixths works. No need to get crazy and complex, right, guys? Keep it simple, stupid. That's the rule. I'm actually going to start right here. Let's do 2 bars. I need 2 bars to get all my stuff in my hands. Let's try that again. Let's try it again. Why is this suddenly so much louder? Am I just playing louder? Let's roll it off a little bit. All right, let's try it again. And my timing could be slightly better, so I'm going to do that again. Yeah, once again, my timing is slightly off. Want it to be in time, at least. Alright, so now we need a new part here. We could return to the first part, or we could do something totally new. And that's going to be up to us, what we want to come up with next. If you want to try a challenge for the musical piece, try to do cover for Dolphin Dance by Herbie Hancock. I think I played it. I think I played that song. Will we be able to enjoy the music without the metronome again? Yes, but I need the metronome so that I can play in time. I need to be able to play in time. I have good time, but not that good. It's not that good. I need it to remind me where the time is. Because sometimes, like, your perception of time shifts, and the metronome all of a sudden is like, what? It's so fast. Alright, let's come up with a new part. If I had like 2.5 minutes of a classical guitar, let's do something different. I'm going to add another audio track. And move it up here. And let's do let's come up with something that kind of uses this sound. Oh, it's on the wrong one. Number 2. Yeah, something. This is the piezo pickup has that acoustic guitar sound. I'm wondering if there's like an acoustic simulator plugin. I know I can find one. Let's check my audio effects. I might have something there. I may just have to do like a little bit of get that trying to avoid functional harmony in this piece in general. So to go from A to something like B flat or even F sharp is probably pretty good. So you go away by like a step or a third, and you're usually going to be having a little bit of a non-functional sound. So I think I want to try painting with this sound, and not quite sure. You know, you can probably tell We can blend the two. Tell it's kind of peaky. Huh. What do we want to do? Let's at least pop on a little bit of reverb here. Now, see, that's a Phrygian sound. I think going to B flat. So, like, maybe something that's really kind of breaks it up and goes to something new. Before we go back to the sound we've had before. Maybe make an arc format. So, B flat. I like this kind of flamenco B flat. This E. What is that? Sharp 11. Sharp 11. B flat sharp 11. Let's start with that. B flat sharp 11. F major 7. That's going up by a fifth, so that works. Then we can go a third away to like G minor, which is and then we can go to something else like back to F, or we could go, kind of want to have it be different. Back to A minor. G minor. That gives a little Phrygian. No, it's not Phrygian. It goes up. But that voicing definitely has a resolution there. So we could do, or you could even go something like, so there's always an E there. I kind of like that. This is the voice I'm using. And ending on A minor 7. Or you could do like that. I don't know. We can go to lots of different routes. But I feel like if we want to have it be a little bit more active, this would be like a good sound for that. We could do anything like that. Maybe this one. I don't know. Let's try it, and we'll maybe just see what we got going on here. And put a little delay on it too. A little delay. Hopefully, you guys can hear it. Alright, let's try it. think I like that better. Anyway, here we go. Let's try it. Yeah, okay. Let's try that again. 1, 2, ready, go. Two, ready, go. Out of time. 2. That's a hard. For some reason, that voicing feels hard on this guitar to do. I think there's another voicing. I could do. That's too similar. All right, let's try it again. 2, ready, go. Messed that one up. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, ready, go. Two, ready, go. Messed up. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, ready, go. Two, ready, go. Try that again. Still haven't quite got it in time. Like I'm having trouble filling the time for some reason. Yeah, I didn't quite get the chord change right. 2, ready, go. doing it like 100 different times, and it's still not quite in time. There's like a little syncopation that I think I'm not doing right. So let's try it again. Let's just try it again. This is part of like recording music, is you end up doing stuff a bunch of times until it just kind of feels right, or it's okay. If you have limited studio time like you did in the old days, you would do all of this before you walked in the studio. You wouldn't do this with like actual studio time unless you were Metallica or someone. Metallica could do something like this because they could afford it, but other bands would not be able to do something like this. Well, I think I got that first phrase right, though. That might be all we need, because we can just, like, copy-paste all this other stuff. Let's hear it. Oh, yeah, it's totally out of time at the end. We gotta do it again. Let's hear what that sounds like. Putting that last note slightly out of time. I can hear it. Let's hear that take again. No, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. And I figure we'll just like come in full bore and we'll do new hi-hats, new drums, everything. And that's going to be our new section that we're going to work with. And we'll do a new bass track, new drum tracks, whole bit. Those hi-hat tracks. Now, here's what's cool about Ableton as well, is I can actually do like MIDI overdub, and so if I want to go back, I can put all of this drum stuff on one track. I don't have to make a bunch of tracks. But I like to have the hi-hats in a separate track because I can pan them in some different ways. And I think it's good. My music production experience amounts to tinkering with things in my head, making a rough piano outline, recording it, and expanding on it later. And it's good. Great place to start. All right. Let's do the hi-hats. All right. Hi-hats. I don't know. Keep it kind of I think I like that one for this one. A little more straight ahead than that Roomba sound. 1, 2, ready, and go. Probably what I want right there. And we can do more variations later. Whoop. Quantize. Bop. Okay. Probably going to keep the first however loud. Look at that. So that's really simple little drum beat here. Quantize. I don't even know the keyboard shortcut for quantize of Control U. You don't want to be Control Q or there goes all your progress. Oh, how do I quantize? Control Q. Whoa, I lost everything. Hey, Tech Roach, how you doing? All right, so we got some drums here. Some more drums right here. Something a little different. I'm going to change the hi-hat, do a different hi-hat pattern now too. I don't like that one. That's the hi-hat pattern. All right. And that's quantize. Quantize. All right. Now we need some bass. Will you make a video or give some advice for how to write lyrics? I'm probably not the best person to ask about that because I don't do a lot of lyric writing. Like, I write a lot of prose. I don't write a whole lot. I mean, I've written a ton of poetry in my day, but, like, I'm not sure if I'm the best lyric writer around, like, the best person to give advice on that. The main thing about lyrics, or the best advice I can give on lyrics, is that meter matters. So the meter of how you speak something matters. If you open up a kid's book, you'll find that the best kids' book are written in they're written in fairly strict meter. Meaning, like, you read it and it's like da 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 or da 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 da. There's a rhythm to what you're reading, and so if your lyrics will have that rhythm, then that's really what that's really what you want. You want to have that that nice, pretty strict rhythm. I'd say the rhythm is actually more important than the rhyme. I'm gonna overblow this thing. All right. So another cool thing that we can change here is we've been kind of in the mid-range in the bass on this song so far. So you can start to use just a little bit lower range. So these chords, which are B flat to F, you can start using the lower, the lower octave, like that. If you want it to be like a really suddenly kind of heavy sound. So let's actually hear how that sounds, and if it's too much, then we can, we can always dial it back a bit. Get my EQ on my bass actually set up here. There we go. That kind of mid-rangey sound. All right. Boop, boop, boop. Should use the wider angle camera so you guys can see more of what I'm actually doing here. I realize you probably can't see a lot of my hands when I'm actually playing. I could do that. I have a wider angle camera that's I usually just use for I could do this. You can see my hands over here if you want it. Something like that. You could probably put it on maybe. Well, that's gonna look weird. I was gonna say I could point it at me or something, or have it down here somewhere. Let's see. Let me see, the hand cam. It's the handy cam down here. It's all upside down. Well, that's a little hard to do. Yeah, I guess I could put it over here somehow. Like this. All right. See how messy my office is here. There you go. See? You can see the hands down here. So we've been playing up here. We're going to play down here now. You can see my Wii U box in the background. And some books. And there's a Baroque lute over there. And some more guitars. I've got my classical kind of sitting next to me. Okay, let's try it. Oh, start B flat. If I want those glissandos. Quarter notes. We're just gonna do quarter notes, man. We're gonna be the yeah, let's do it that way. It's going to be really loud compared to the regular bass tracks I have. Let's see if I might dial back the input just a bit. There we go. Oops, that took us back to the beginning of the piece. I wanted to start right away with quarter notes. get that. You can also, you could also take it down with that 5th string there. If you wanted to, for some of the stuff, like, you know, actually, you probably couldn't. I think this is actually B flat. Yeah, we'd have to get up to like C before we'd start really getting into that. These lower notes. All right, let's try it again. I wasn't crazy about how that sounded. I feel like I just have a little too much bottom end or something. May have to get it in EQs at the end. That's pretty close. I think I like that kind of more driving bass sound. So I'm going to do probably another take of that to kind of get what's going on here. I try to keep sharp after the hospital choir disbanded. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Let's do it again. Such a boring bass line. I almost hate it. Like worship music bass line here. All right. Totally boring bass line, but Yeah, I think I'm not liking the quarter notes as simple as they are. I think it's too little. I think it's too boring. Do you have any singing tips? My singing level amounts to, well, his voice is good. We'll have him sing some songs for the jazz band. I'm not a vocal coach. My wife is, but I'm not. So I don't have a ton of good advice there. There's mostly what it comes down to is practicing and ear training are probably the two biggest things that singers need to work on. Ear training, of course, is part of practicing, but basically being able to accurately sing intervals is what's going to separate you from somebody who can sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and somebody who can sing Darn That Dream, or somebody who can sing, Come Sunday, something that's has very difficult intervals in it. So practicing that ear training stuff is probably, it's the thing that made me at least tolerable as a singer, is the ear training stuff. And that's also going to improve your pitch. There's a bunch of different ways to practice towards that end, though. You can practice with your ears like this, which just makes it so you can hear intonation a little better. There's a bunch of different things you can do. It's way too many to list to get going here. The main thing also is just practicing so that your tone is correct, consistent, and won't hurt you. A lot of pop singers, they develop tone, they did. If you're trying to sound like James Hetfield, that's gonna take a toll on your voice. And I can do a James Hetfield impression pretty good, but I don't know how that guy could sing like that for 2 hours, Yeah! Hey, little boy, you're going to hell! You're going to hell! Ugh. That would take a toll on my voice after a while. Same thing with like singing trying to do black metal vocals. It's gonna hurt you after a while. So let's redo this bass track. I wasn't happy with it. I can do it with a pick too. You can do it with a pick. Get that little kind of setup. I'm usually doing it with the fingers. Depends if we want it to have that thuddy kind of cut through the mix a bit. What do you guys think? Pick or no pick? Exit light into night. Take my hand. We're off to Never Land. So something you pick up with James Hetfield is he adds an extra syllable to anything that ends with a consonant. So he adds an at the end to honestly, it makes the words understandable in the high saturation. Take my hand. You're not going to hear the D in a saturated mix, but if you add that hand, then all of a sudden you can hear the enunciation of the ND. We have a lot of these consonant clusters in English that just disappear in a tight texture. The bass line might almost be boring, but I'm oddly attracted to the texture of the wood in the bass body. Do you happen to know what type of wood it is? So the top is what's called spalted maple. So it's from a maple tree, but I think there's these inclusions in it that are due to some sort of fungal infection. And so it's just a top veneer, and the rest of the body is just regular ash, I think, with a maple neck. So it just has a cool look to it. This is all a matte finish guitar. This is an ESP guitar, or LTD, whatever their cheaper brand is. I got it as a deal, and I really like it. It's fretless. I like playing fretless bass more than fretted bass now because it has a much growlier tone. You can get this even with a pick. It has this kind of growlier tone because there's no fret there to make it nice and clear. So doing James Hetfield is fine, but can you do a good Meatloaf? I don't think I could. he's got a way higher voice than me, you know. Have you heard the bass solo in Goodbye Angels? RHCP, it's really damn good and slappy. I don't know if I have. Like, yeah, slap bass doesn't really work on fretless. Because that's the sound of frets that you're usually getting with the slap. It sounds really weird that would sound really rad on a fretted bass, you know. I think I might keep the quarter notes for 2 phrases. Once we get to the 8th notes, it's a little too much. Because I like kind of the heavier sound. Once you start getting too many divisions, it starts to lose that heaviness. And then maybe right here we can record something a little bit different. That's maybe... kind of like that. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, see, I'm going... Yeah, let's do something like that. I'll improvise something. Let's try that again. Almost out of time for the stream. I'm kind of having the time off because I'm going up to F. I kind of want to hear that F. I think I kind of like that. Let's try that. Four, 1, 2, ready, go. Yeah, that's too much of a leap. I gotta do a different fingering. That's kind of a good little interesting bass line there. Save our work. We don't want to lose our work, guys. Don't want to lose your work. Yeah, I mean, I get why bassists do it because honestly, like, why bassists, bassists in my high school jazz band would slap like you never could again whenever the song called for it. I get it. It's because the bass part, I mean, usually just, you know, You know, you're just doing like walking bass lines are the most interesting thing that you do. It's kind of like playing quarter notes. You know, you're doing a lot of boring stuff. I mean, if you're playing like real jazz, you'd probably be playing like a contrabass anyway. And contrabass, it's a different slap technique, and you don't do it a lot in jazz. You can do it in Dixieland quite a bit, but it's that slap sound you hear in rockabilly. I actually played rockabilly bass now 18 years ago. Hard to believe that. Been a long time. All right, so we go straight into this little thing. Let's different keyboard patches too. We really want a shift in the texture. What's a good keyboard patch that's different? I don't know. Let's find some keyboards to layer on all this. Find some keyboards. Let me put this bass up real quick. All right. And just by the way, before we go, I'm just gonna show you something of what I'm talking about when it comes to like compressing and doing like mixing and mastering and that kind of stuff. Let's do our keyboard part, and then I'll show you some compression stuff that you can run on top of your mix to keep it, get it a little bit louder and more saturated. We could do like woodwinds, like. Yeah, you could do woodwinds or something. I think it might be like an oboe would be pretty sweet. Question is, here we could play an oboe patch here, or I could play it on iwi. That's the question. I think I like an oboe here. I'm gonna experiment with it, and if I like the oboe, maybe I'll play it on iwi. So let's go to orchestral woodwinds. I think English horn. Oops. Didn't want to do that. All right. We're going to do. This is we wanted a MIDI track. Put in insert MIDI track, and we're going to put in English horn. See how English horn works. This is an English horn sample. Now I could actually control this with an iwi as well. I don't know if I want to do that. Oh no, we have a E natural. All right, let's play it. See what we get. English horn. Let's try oboe. Let's try oboe. Something that's gonna cut a little bit more. Oboe. And let's try that again. Yeah, the oboe. Let's just see if we like the texture. So I think I like the oboe texture. Now the question remains whether I want to just play with the sample or play with the iwi. We'll try it with the iwi. Try it with the iwi. Hopefully it's charged because I haven't played it in a while. Where'd my neck strap go? That's a problem. There it is. Alright, just play it in EV. Get a little bit more a little bit more. Just cleaning the keys off right now because the keys are have a little dust on them, and that doesn't feel very good. Okay, where is my iwi patch? Come hither. No, you're stuck. Another wires. Put two wires next to each other, and then they'll like come back 30 minutes later, and they'll be tangled together. It's like inevitable. All right. These things on. His baby turned them off. Okay. My daughter turned everything down when she was sitting in my lap. All their sound showing up. Oh, we got to turn on record. This will allow me to actually play stuff in with vibrato, etc. Let me think here. Turn this up a bit so you can hear it better. Okay. What patch are we going to do here? Where's oboe? I gotta pull up the list here. Hold on. Oboe. There's like 25 different sax patches on this thing. Good if I'm gonna play saxophone. There we go. 21. So with the iwi, you can control a lot more what you're doing here. Actually, I could turn this. You guys want to see this thing? I don't know. This is what it looks like. Thank you for the $5, Sergeant Slim Jim. David, I just read your latest article on DVS Press, and I wholeheartedly agree. Here's a $5 for your great write-up on music. Thank you. I wrote a little thing on contemporary Christian music. I was talking about it with some other authors, and we were talking about how, this stuff was kind of forced on us in the Protestant church, and a lot of these people weren't really... It wasn't really a meaningful alternative. Like, it was presented as an alternative to pop music, and they didn't behave in a special way. They behaved just as poorly as their other counterparts, and most of them were revealed to be, serial philanderers later on. There's a whole thing, I could talk for a long time about the problem with the American Protestant churches in general. Like this guy that wrote this book called, I Kissed Dating Goodbye, he, retracted his work and said, I'm sorry I wrote it, and I'm not a Christian anymore. It seems like there's a lot of problems with modern evangelical movement. It doesn't keep people sticking around. All right, let's see if we can put something cool with this oboe. Are you Roman Catholic or Orthodox? I was raised Mennonite. I'm not confirmed in either of those churches. I attended Catholic churches. We could talk more in depth about that in the future. But basically, I never heard sacred music until I went to Catholic church. And there's a reason for that. It's because, the Protestant churches they play kind of an imitation of pop music rather than sacred music. This idea that there's a sacred music that is directed towards God just isn't really there. You're Roman Catholic, that's good. I'm not a confirmed Catholic. But I started attending Catholic churches for quite a while when I started studying the liturgy. And I started studying the musical liturgy as a music student. And because I discovered all kinds of other music that, I didn't know existed. No one ever played it. You didn't play it. You didn't play it in public school. You didn't hear it in church. You had to go to different places to even hear it. Have you ever studied Messianic Judaism and or the Hebrew Roots movement? I have not. Not really. I think I knew someone who was Messianic Jew, but I didn't really have any kind of deep conversations with him about his faith or about what the movement was. So I'm really not equipped to speak at liberty about it. I've known some, or I've known at least one, but I wouldn't pretend to be an expert or anything. Anyway, let me see if I can get some takes going here. I lost the patch. 21 or 22. Which one do we like better? English horn? I think I do like the... I'm running out of battery, I think. Oh no, we don't want transpose on. There we go. I can recommend a great book account, burner account. It's called Orthodoxy and Heterodoxy by Stephen Demick, who's an Orthodox priest. Goes into very deeply the differences between especially Roman Catholicism and the Orthodox faith and where those things really differ. And also some stuff with Vatican II as well, that Vatican II is very complicated to understand if you're an outsider. So it's got some good stuff there that I think helps outsiders to understand just the controversy around Vatican II from the 1960s. Yeah, there's totally guitar masses now, Omar. You know, I went to like Latin mass. I specifically avoided like modern masses. I don't like modern music at all in church. I think we lose that separation between secular and sacred, and we need that sacred music. Anyway, let's try a take. Let's try a take and see what we come up with. Okay. I like what I'm doing. So I like the sound of this. A little more expressive. Little timing issue. You have to kind of catch your breath. It's like playing an oboe. You can't get the air into the instrument because it's like a pressure sensor that controls all the volume and stuff. Up. I think 2 phrases is probably enough, or 3 phrases. So let's do it again. Start right there. I don't do all that over again. Oh, wrong octave. Let's try that again. All right. Now, before I go, so I'm gonna put this bad boy up real quick. We got a little oboe part there. Let me play it in. And before we go, let me talk about quickly some mastering stuff, and I might do a whole stream on this and just go through different stuff I do. I have a couple settings that I like to use in this program, and I tend to just use those and just kind of forget about doing too much else besides that. There it goes. All right. When you study the Bible from a Hebraic perspective, much starts to fall into place and make sense. For example, this communion at the Last Supper meant Passover, and not something new. But it was something new. Studying from a Hebraic perspective as though the church fathers didn't have that perspective. Most of them were Jews. Apostolic descent is important. It actually is very important. Anyway, let me go on to the beginning here. And so we'll just listen to it. From here I can hear like what's a little low. Like the main drums are a little low. Now I'm going to show you guys something. So go over to the master channel and you can find a bunch of presets in this for mastering stuff. So you can just go to like Effect Rack. And find stuff that works for you. And you'll notice when you start using different mastering settings, things will start to get a little bit more louder. Make sure I'm not getting too loud on your end here. Yeah, it should be peaking. Never mind. Here we go. We'll turn it down a little bit so you guys are not blasted out so much. Sorry for that. All right. There we go. Oh, I didn't realize it was still that weird camera angle. Sorry for that. Look at me like slouching. I'm just slouching. Being a slouch. That's how I am. All right. So, like, we can, warm and wide master, for instance. Just put that down there in the master, and then when we, I'll just let you hear it. And here's a full. Things are kind of quiet. Start running these compressors. I like to dial the compressor down a little bit. And a limiter. So just kind of glue everything together, push everything up a little louder. Things that are too loud generally have an issue with the compression. Like Death Magnetic by Metallica. There's too much compression. Notice there's a lot of mid-gain to make it sound louder. And I also like to put a multi-band compressor on this as well. And you can play around with this to see kind of where you want. Like there's the high end's a little low, you can kind of turn that up. Like this. So it'll provide a little bit of compression in any of these frequencies that are a little too intense. You get a good loud sound. Oh, it seems that's going to be a little bit too strong. Yeah, so that transition, this whole phrase is like a little too strong a change, I think. So it goes pretty strong into a different direction. I need to do there needs to be like a one measure transition there or something. So we'll work on that next time. I might re-record the EV part too. I'm not super happy with it. That's what we got so far. So I'll work up a transition. We'll work up a transition between these two areas here, and then that harsh change will be kind of interesting. And then what we'll do is we'll go back to this texture that we started with, and then that'll be the whole piece. It'll just be basically a 3 large part piece, or maybe a 5 part arc piece, and that'll be good. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me during this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Newest book is called Tyrant's Gallow. I don't even know where I have a copy of it. It's around here somewhere, guys. So you guys can read that. It's part 2 of Moonsong. So if you want to read the first part, this is only 99 cents on Amazon. So I think it's a pretty good buy. So you can buy this for 99 cents, and if you like it, you can read book 2, which is a little bit thicker, got a little bit more action and craziness in it. So let me know, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great one. Here, I'll play the music as I'm shutting down the stream. So we'll go that direction. Oh no, I'm going to play some different music so I can turn the mic off. Anyway, guys, I appreciate it.